Okay, so we're going to look at a few different data types today. The integer type, the float, double, the constant, the char, looks like char, but it's character, and the boolean. So for this, I put some guidance in my announcement, but I also want to just look at a simple program to see how these would function. So in a program like this one, we have our main function here. It's really the only function of the program. You can see it's an if-else kind of comparison, and we really only have one variable, which is n. Okay, so we can call the variable, I have n, but we could have called it anything. We could have called it var. We could have called it x. We could have called it cloud. It doesn't matter what the variable name is, but it does matter what the variable type is declared as. And this is the declaration of our variable and its initial value. So here I have it declared as an integer, and I have the value set to 4.1, or 4 and 1/10. Now, if you know the definitions of the integer type, this won't be possible with an integer. So if I try to run this program with an integer value of 4.1, you'll see if I debug, I exit with an exit code, because that's not the right variable type for the value, or it's not the right kind of value for the variable type. So integers have no decimal points. That's the difference between an integer and float. You can think of a decimal number as a floating point value, and an integer doesn't have that floating point. So the program will run just fine if I change the value. Okay, here's the result of the program. N is equal to 4. It followed the logic. It followed the logic down the if-else tree just fine, because this value is accepted for this data type. Or if I wanted to go back here, I could instead, if I wanted to keep 4.1, I could also just change the value type to a float. So n being a float, and that also runs just fine. It runs, and now I've got the correct message. N is greater than 4. So you see that this part of the logic was triggered. If I had a different kind of variable, for instance, if I changed it to a boolean, now if you'll know from the readings and from my announcement that with a boolean value, we're really only looking for true or false. Excuse my handwriting there. So a boolean n, we're really looking for true and false. So if I give a floating point value, or really any kind of value, again, you'll see, I get errors. It triggers errors in my construction here. And same if we do another variable type, which is a character or anything else. So one of the keys here, and by the way, with the constant, I'll just mention as well, this 4.1, this is a constant value. It's not exactly a data type, but it's a way we enter data. So instead of this data being generated by the user, this is a constant that's hard-coded into my program, which is useful sometimes with formula values or etc. So with these data types, one of the things to remember as we go through this week is the data type has to match the data that's entered. If you're finding that you're getting errors like the ones that I've just demonstrated, it may be that the data doesn't match the data type. So make sure to double check those, and also read the resources that I posted, and of course let me know if you have a sticking point and we'll work it out.